Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Star Citizen deep dive. I think we're on, what, episode 3 now? 4, I think? Welcome back. So if you don't know what this series is, it's just me taking a look back in history, in hindsight, knowing where the game is now, taking a look back, seeing where it started out, seeing what their hopes and dreams and things were back in the beginning. We started off 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago, when they were showing us Squadron 42, and just seeing how far the development's come is actually, it's pretty cool. Obviously, you know, some people think it's been taking too long, but after watching these, it's actually opened my eyes a lot. We looked at, like I say, the Squadron 42, we've looked at how the Kickstarter started, we've looked at, what else? We've looked at the office tours, like the original offices in like a basement. Up till, if you saw last video, we did this video right here. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but I thought it was on theme because we were looking at some of the office tours, but we ended up seeing one that was 2 years later from that, which is still 5 years ago, so it's not the current offices. But how far they've come was insane. That was the LA office tour. But today, so we've been doing Wingman's Hangar as well, and I'll do another Wingman's Hangar video. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying Wingman's Hangar. But we'll do those in separate videos. But let me show you what we got going on here. Okay, so as you can see, the red is what we've watched. Some of them don't show red all the way through. I don't know why. But the Wingman's Hangars we're going to catch up on. Some of them I was like, I don't think we need to necessarily watch right away. Like the Star Citizen male character motion range thing. I just don't, you know, it is what it is. So I thought we'd start what seems to be like the first iteration of Inside Star Citizen. So we'll go over the Wingman's Hangars, like I say, but so it's right here, Inside Cloud Emporium Games. I think that may be like the original Inside Star Citizen. So we're gonna start here, but we'll start off with the 300 series. The next generation is now, and then we'll watch this Inside Emporium game. So we'll watch these two in today's deep dive into Star Citizen. So let's get into it. I think what I'll do this week as well is a video like Star Citizen now. You know what I mean? Like we've been watching, I know we're only 4 episodes into the deep dive, but I think I'm gonna, you know, load up Star Citizen and just do a video where I just jump in and just show what it's like now. Show some of the cool places, show some of the cool ships, and just really do something like that. And as I'm thinking about this, maybe it would be cool to do tour videos. Like a tour of all the ships that I have. Just like a video on each, you know what I mean? Like inside a caterpillar. Showing what it is, showing what it does. Showing you like a deep tour within the ship. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. I just thought of that right now, but it could be something cool. But anyway, the 300 series, the next generation is now.
If someone were to ask you, what is speed? What would you tell them? Is it simply a measure of distance covered over time? The magnitude of velocity? Or is it something more? At origin, speed is more than a number. It's a state of being. Speed is a shock to the soul. Speed is a call to action. Speed
how fat that seat is.
Introducing the 2943 300i.
Why does that look so sick? It looks so much better than it does now. I think we can all agree one thing CIG does great is these trailers for ships. But look at that. That looks incredible. I think this looks better than they do currently. I have a 300. I don't have one of these 300s. I have the racing. Is a 300R. I have the black like one, and the interior is like carbon fiber, like the racing one. I used to always take it to the races we went on just because I was like, it's a racing ship, so. But just they were ground races. But No, this looked sick. This ship looked... I mean, it's still a beautiful ship, don't get me wrong. I feel like Origin went more the way of luxury, where this looks more like a down and dirty, like, beast. But this would have been sick if this is actually what we got. But wow, it looks good. It's funny, after doing that Star Atlas scam video, I knew the thoughts and opinions and all that would be mixed. And I don't think I need to even make another one. I think that there's not really much more that needs to be said about that game. But, you know, seeing this and seeing what's, you know, you can't compare the two. See what this is? And now this has come to light. Anyway. I wish... I mean, I guess you can do that. You know, how sick does that look when this just happened right here? See how it was slow and then it just... I know you could technically be kind of in atmosphere and then set a jump point and then jump out of it, which is, I guess, the closest equivalent we could get to this. But it would be sick if we were able to actually, like... Even just when you watch, like, Star Wars and things, you know what I mean? Like, when you're in a ship, and then you just, poof, throttle it, and it just goes... That would be so fun to be able to actually do that in this game. I mean, this game is more about physics and being realistic and stuff like that, but that would be so... Just being able to just floor it and seeing a ship go, whoom! Just as a spectator, watching people do it and you doing it yourself, just seeing this, you know, the ground next to you going by slow and then just being like, and just seeing the ground like, that would be so sick. That would be so sick. But again, I think it's more so just physics. They want it to be more realistic. But it would be damn good. It would be damn good. Anyway. Like that. That was sick. Alright, let's move on to the inside CIG. So I assume this is the inside CRG that came out right after the trailer. So they're going to be discussing this ship, and it'll be interesting to see what they said about the ship and the design elements of it. Because, again, that's what this series is all about. In hindsight, now we know what the 300 series is. So it'll be interesting to see what they originally were setting out to do. Why does the music sound like that TV show? How It's Made. It's basically, I guess they're showing us how it's made, but you guys ever watch that TV show? I loved that thing when I was young. It is the same music! Why is it... Listen, it's the How It's Made theme song I tried to find, and what the hell's that got to do with Lamborghini? Alright, maybe it's not, but it sounded very similar. Right? It's okay, I'm getting distracted already. Okay, I'll stop.
It's the same bloody song.
Hey everybody, here at Cloud Imperium Games, we're going to take an inside look at with artist Chris Smith on the 300i. I know a lot of you out there have been wondering what's going on with the ship, and so we thought we'd take a look. So, what do we got here, man?
Well, this is the concept drawing for the 300i, made by Massive Black by Kemp.
Kemp Rimmel.
So I pause things. I apologize, but like it still kind of has this, right? That shape. Let me pull up a picture of 300i so we compare at least a little bit. The current day 300i. I mean, it's still freaking gorgeous, isn't it? But like the original, I don't know what it was, but this just looked so aggressive. I guess the new one looks better. Yeah, the new one, it's just more polished, isn't it? But this thing just look... There needs to be like a 300i, right? Because we have the pirate ships like the Drakes and stuff. Imagine if someone could... You know, maybe they found the hull of a 300i and it was originally all beautiful and pristine like these. And then they just, you know, they were hacking away at it, built... This is what I imagine that to look like. You know, just some random person in the desert of Star Citizen on Hurston. They found the hull and, you know, reclamation disposal, and they just started building their own ship out of it, and then this is what it ended up becoming. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm distracted.
Remillard?
Kim Remillard.
Remillard, yeah.
And well, yeah.
I need
this
to
is
sit
how
on my
it starts,
hands.
pretty much.
So take us to the thing, right? You start with the approved image of a concept, and then you go from there. How do you take what's on paper that's been approved that Chris has looked at and said, yeah, man, this is the way we want it to look, and then how do you get from that to the finished product? Take us through the steps.
All right. So yeah, it gets approved by Chris Roberts through the concept stations. It's either a 2D concept or a 3D concept. In this case, it was a 3D model already. And then, so basically, I'll start out with a simple block out.
So this is we're going to the original. This is the original model you get from.
So this is
Massive
the
Black.
actual concept model I got.
Okay.
And you can see there's a lot of problems with it. It was mainly, it wasn't modeled like this. It was just messed up from the exporter.
Right.
But basically, yeah.
It seems very. It seems. I mean, polygonally, it seems like it's got just a few, and we're going for a real high depth look.
Polygonally? I don't think I've ever heard that word before. What does polygony mean? Polygonally?
It's very. It seems. I mean, polygonally, it seems.
Polygonally. Hey Siri, what does polygonally mean?
Polygon means a plane.
Not polygon. Hey Siri, what does polygonally mean?
Polygon means
Is this a real word, guys?
It was just messed up from the exporter.
Right.
But basically, yeah.
It seems very. It seems. I mean, polygonally, it seems.
I've never heard that word. I googled it and nothing popped up. Siri has no idea. I've never polygonally. Sorry, I'm getting distracted again. Is that a word, guys? Can you let me know what the definition of that is in the comment section? I'm not trying to talk smack. I just genuinely have never heard that word before. All right, let's continue.
Seems like it's got just a few, and we're going for a real high depth look.
Yeah, it's very low res. Very simple and block out type. And so
Are those
what I do
engines
is
right
I
here, or
basically
these
go
guns?
in And retopologize it and rebuild it with a cleaner mesh.
Topologize.
Yes.
I topologize.
I'm a topologist.
Yeah, you're a topologist. So you're going in there, cleaning it all up, making it look rounder, sleeker.
Well, first I actually make the mesh so it's smooth and it makes sense. You have to build things a certain way to make it work correctly and to make it clean. Just basically clean.
Where do you go after this?
So after this part is the block out, and then it goes from that to basically I'll just start refining and cutting in more, and then you kind of end up with something like this where you can see there's a lot more polys and a lot more definition.
Right. So you've really ramped up the amount of triangles or polygons in there too.
Now this also is already a textured version. I can show you just the grayscale.
Dude, being a designer like this must be so much
But
fun.
yeah, you can see the edges are like smoother and things look more rounded out, like they have a certain highlight to them.
And do you have to worry about scale at all for pilots and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have, fortunately, our animator Brian, he made it.
Yeah, that's what must be pretty difficult, right? Like scaling these so you can actually fit people in them and walk around them and make it feel like it's not too big or too small. Like designing these ships has got to be so difficult.
Just a little proxy model
Like
of it.
making the white box for it, or just showing, like doing this initial part seems like it's difficult enough, but I'm sure they have a lot of fun with it. But turning this into a reality, I think that's the hard part.
Of a pilot that he reaches at all the screens and stuff, and so I can use him as a template for my interior place. And so, yeah, this is what I have here is the interior model for the 300i.
Oh, look at that.
And it was, that model was used to make sure all the dimensions are right and it fit the character, fit the player correctly.
Right. So now you've been working on this a while. This is not a quick process. This is not something you get a concept from and then a week later you've got a finished product. Correct?
Yeah, it's definitely not a week-long deal.
Yeah.
There were a couple of growing pains with this, so we're figuring out workflow and stuff like that. And it's definitely, we're modeling these game assets in a different way than traditional game assets are modeled, where you use like a low amount of polys, and you kind of bake in normal maps. You bake in maps for all the details. In our case, since we want a lot of resolution out of the textures when you walk up to
2012,
it,
does that say? 2011?
we're using tile textures, so the modeling process is a little bit different.
Yeah, and everything has to work on this thing, like the wheel wells, the doors, the ladder needs a place to.
so-
Once it goes in there, it's actually part of the model, right?
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah, I model everything out, so you know I do little test animations to make sure things fit and whatnot. And here's like a little demo of like the landing gear coming out.
Wasn't expecting that.
The ladders and stuff.
I didn't think they had it that detailed.
We'll take a look
Oh,
at that
that's
with
sick.
Ryan here in a little bit too, so
Yeah.
we can show exactly how that all happens. Because I mean, sometimes when you model stuff, if you don't have the collisions on right, it'll just pop through the floorboard or something. You need to find a
Yes.
place to fit all that.
Yeah, it was a little back and forth between Brian and me, for sure. You know, some things will always pop in and some issues will come up, but we'll get those worked out.
So this is a pretty sexy ship. So you're gonna have some customizable parts. So can you show a little bit?
Okay, so this is where it's going to get interesting. So now he's talking about you're going to have some customizable parts. I'm curious to what the customizable parts were in the original idea, not just for this ship, but just in ships in general. Because now, obviously, we know we can get quantum drives and shield generators and different weapons and different coolers and power plants. Let's see if that's originally what they were planning on doing, or is it more so painting and changing the wheels? I don't know. Let's listen.
About some of the stuff and how you customize or how you plan for that?
So initially, when we modeled the 300i, the plans for the engine and stuff came a little bit later. Fortunately, though, the design of the ship was already sort of modular, and so I was able to take away the engine to replace it with different power plants. And here I'll give you like a little preview of one of the variations for the 300i.
Sure.
Right here is the alternative version for the 300i. This is going to be called the 315p. And basically what
So that was sick. I wish you could change the engines in this game and physically see them get big and small, and maybe you could have just dual engine instead of having a big one. You know what I mean? That would be kind of cool, no? I know it's different variations, like he was just saying this is a 315 or whatever. But it would be kind of cool to be able to change the engines. I don't know if that's just cosmetics, but I think it would be sick to see, let's say someone has a ship and you can tell what engines they have in it by, you know, you look at a stock one and it has just two small engines on each side, and then maybe you upgrade it to, you know, a bigger one and it's got two big engines on the side, and then you upgrade it again and it's got like a quad, so you got two on each side, all of the same ship though. I think that could be something that's kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to do that in the future or if they're just going to keep it standard across the board, but that would be a cool way to differentiate between component upgrades. Like if you had two ships next to each other that were both the same ship, but somebody had upgraded engines and you could physically see the different engines, that'd be kind of cool.
What I've done here is replace this whole area. Basically, well, except for the air scoop in this case. But everything else, the whole engine will be replaced.
It's not really an air scoop. It's more of a hydrogen scoop.
Hydrogen, yes, sorry. I'm so Earth-based.
That's okay. Maybe it's a
hydrogen
dual
scoop.
hydrogen air scoop.
It
Has dual roles.
Yes.
Well, it would be air if they were flying on like Microtech, right? Am I making myself sound stupid now?
Particle scoop. Thank you.
Particle
And,
scoop. We'll just stick
so
with
yeah,
that.
basically, you know, we wanted a bulkier, beefier version of the engine for this one base.
Right. So basically, you can take your 300i, you can upgrade it with better engines, missiles, guns. You can really customize what you want to do with it.
Yes. So the engine is part one. Like here is a small block out, which
So they were planning on making it an upgradable option. Now we know you can upgrade quantum drives and stuff like that, but like the engine, seeing the physical change, that looks like it got pushed out the window, or at least pushed to the side for now.
I already have a model for it, but this is the proxy. This will be something like a tractor beam that you can upgrade to.
Nice.
The
Tractor
blackout,
beam
usually
on
the
a
turret fits
300i.
in there, and it kind of comes down and it scoots
Slides forward or whatever. Very cool.
In this
That's
case,
cool. How you can choose tractor beams, guns. Maybe that's something they'll still do in the future. Maybe that's something they've already said and I've just missed. I don't know.
The anything that you attach to the thing will
So you have a
the same
hard point.
action.
You have a hard point right there, and we design things that can be attached to that hard point, either be guns, radars, turrets, things, whatever you can do to your ship. That's one of the places you can attach
While
it.
we're here, I'll show you some in-game shots.
Oh, that's cool. Now this is actually in game, right?
So yeah, this is exported into the CryEngine with its lighting and everything, and it's got lights at it, so it looks in the materials.
It's a sick ship. I would buy this ship.
It's a little bit more zoom.
I think this, like I said, I think this is better looking than the 300. I like the 300's good. Listen, the Origin ships are good for what they are. I'm not saying they're not. They're beautiful. They're just high-end luxury, liners, right? Well, not really a liner, but you know what I mean. Whereas this just looks like it's just sick. I really like this one.
Again, yeah.
Does anyone else
Hardpoint,
agree?
So here's like a laser cannon that will be interchangeable. Here are missiles that will be.
Dude, imagine if this ship was out now. It would kind of be super OP, right? There's have laser cannons and missiles and all of this on it.
Some versions that won't be there. Some versions.
Yeah,
that
it's up to
will.
the person, whatever they put on their ship.
And then later on, they can always add them.
Can we get into there?
Yeah, we can take a look. So you kind of walk in.
It's got a little leather on the sides there.
It's
So,
a little
yeah,
bit
they definitely
plush,
changed the
yes.
interior.
It was, we're kind of wanting to mimic the nice like Mercedes-ish, BMW-ish
beautiful
look.
looking.
So early on, they were saying they wanted to make it luxury, right? Here they were saying Mercedes, BMW, but it ended up being more like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, which is what Origin should be, in my opinion. But look at this, like leather. This it's kind of cool, but the exterior obviously didn't look like that until now.
Look at that.
With some leather, yeah, it's got the little cigar lounge. Feel
Here's
to it.
cigar lounge in the 300i.
And then you walk up to it. Yeah, that's basically how you walk up to your cockpit. It's through the ladder,
Right.
The
then
big door.
through the little hallway and to your seat.
Very nice.
And
Yeah, it's
here's your
definitely better
command.
now. They definitely fine-tuned it.
Command console?
Yes. See, it
Wow.
looks a lot better in here than it does.
I mean, the console here looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it does. Actually, the CryEngine, and this, folks, is why we've chosen the CryEngine. You can see the detail there and how pretty it is.
And this already has like a little bit of a lighting pass on the inside with some mood lighting, and how the ship would look in the game.
All right, man.
Once you're going around flying with it.
Well, there, folks. There's the 300i. Thank you, Chris, for showing us a sneak
welcome.
peek or a peek of what people are going to be getting pretty soon. And now we're going to head over to Brian Brewer and take a look at the how animations work on the thing. As promised, now we're over here with Brian. We're going to take a look at some of the things we have to do on the
Freaking assault rifles next to him. What the bloody hell's going on here?
300i to give you those realistic animations to make it look real and really come alive. So, hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good.
Good. So this is the 300i. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts on it, right?
That's right. We're trying to make all of our ships articulate and move and feel a little more alive, as opposed to like the static vehicles you get in the average game.
Right, exactly. So let's get an example of what. Show me something here that you're going to articulate, or things you're going to move around. Like what kind of things?
For example, we're doing the landing gear. So I take the landing gear, I rig it up.
Now rig it up. What does that mean? Rig it up.
Okay, so what I do is in the case of the landing gear, it's a skinned mesh. So I create a skeleton. I take that skeleton, I put constraints on that skeleton, and then I animate the skeleton. And that allows all the pistons, the hydraulics, everything that's articulates to move properly.
Show them moving. You can see, and look at that. You can see actually the pistons coming down. Like boom, it goes a little further down. So all that stuff, it's a skeleton, and that's the same process you use for character animation, correct?
That's correct. And because this is a vehicle, we
good.
We have two different types of animation that we use. We
They make
have
it look so
skeletal
easy.
animation on a skinned object, such as the landing gear. Then we have animated geometry, such as the doors, on this for the landing gear. So the landing gear doors are actually animated geometry that I went in, I broke apart, I created pivots, and animated all these parts individually in order to work proper in the CryEngine.
Well, this is the kind of level of detail they can expect out of all of our ships.
Yeah, I want a high level of accuracy in animation. I'll give you another example on this door. So on this door, we have like this handle here. And if I scrub over to that animation, you can see that the handle actually starts to spin.
Right, I see that right there. Yeah, that's really cool.
And then the door lifts up and out of the way. Let me back up.
Let's
here
back up and get a good look at that door.
They definitely made the
This is
doors
one of the
better.
things Chris wants in all of his games, right?
But
It's
this was like 8
level
years
of
ago.
realism. Look at that.
So this is a little more complex. It is several pieces that have been broken apart, fixed, parented, put together, and animated. When you actually do get inside your ship,
Right. Which will be in the hangar.
which will be in the hangar, and you push the open door button, and you get to see the.
I can't help but think of Star Atlas again after watching like what they're trying to do, man. It's just so annoying that people don't see that it's literally just a copy of this. They're literally just copying verbatim. It's like the people in Star Atlas were like, okay, let's do what I'm doing right now. Let's go back to the beginning and watch the development, and we'll just mimic it and see if we can make 500 million. That's literally, it's like their game plan. But they haven't told everyone else because everyone else thinks that this is new and exciting, and maybe they've never heard of Star Citizen. But this is what Star Atlas is doing right now. They're selling these NFT ships to fund development, and then the next rollout is hangars. And they're saying, the next update we're going to have hangars, and you guys can come and check out your ships in a hangar. It's the same. They're literally just copying the roadmap of Star Citizen from day one. It's mind-blowing.
Move up and articulate.
Just like real life. So you're on your own Lamborghini / gull-wing doors on the 300i.
Yeah. So and that's just a small piece. I mean, there's lots of things like we have a hatch here on the top that articulates. It'll open up an airlock. So if you want to couple with a larger ship,
Right.
you get inside of it.
They've been working on the airlocks for a while, and they still don't
You
work.
should be able to dock. It should be able to open up, drop a ladder down, and you'd be able to climb out and get inside that other ship. We have. When
I
you
wonder
go
why
past-
the airlock thing's taken so long. Is it because of the space stations, like the docking? Or ship-to-ship docking? Ship-to-ship docking is going to be sick, imagine. You can build your own little space station out there.
that side. We have, flaps. It's a very small animation. It's just a slider that's created and will get played programmatically in code depending on what the player inputs. So he pushes up on the keyboard or it pulls back on his flight stick or whatever it happens to be, and it will cause these flaps to go up and down.
And there's all kinds of things that get animated as well, like guns.
Flaps wouldn't do anything in space,
Reticulating
right?
parts
There's
on,
no
on
gravity, there's
missiles, any of those
nothing
kind of
to-
things.
there's
The
no
fins maybe
force.
extending out. Now, do you have any engine movement back there?
Yeah, we do. So let me turn on my little helpers here so I can see what I'm doing.
Right.
And so this is.
And what are those green things? They're like they help you, whichever animations they help you control.
So, yeah, so they do several different things. The ones that I have selected here are controls, so I can actually control the
Just
different
set
parts of my
objects-
engine.
right, okay,
So
fair enough.
I'll put my keys on this, and then I'll bake it
And
down.
you have this on faces, body parts. The helpers are all over in anything you're animating, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So what I do is I set up a bunch of controllers on this engine, so we can open it up, we can close it, go into our afterburner, and then I
So that looks incredible. That's not in game, right? Have I just missed this? I'm trying to think. Have I missed that they do this? Maybe we'll take the 300i out this week. I mean, it's incredible. It looks sick. If I've missed it, that's a detail that I've missed. And if it's not there, I wonder why they changed it.
add a little bit more flair to it, so these open up, so you can kind of get this nice little.
Yeah, look how sick that is.
Animation.
Wow, that is really cool.
So if you can imagine it being like on the runway and the camera's behind the ship, and you see the afterburners kick on right before it's getting ready to take off, and it does this little pulsation, it pulses and fluctuates, and then tightens up, and you take
Away
off.
you go.
And then when you hit the brakes, it just kind of opens up and
Right on.
helps you slow down.
Very, very cool. So now let's get inside.
If that's there, I don't know how that's a detail I've missed or forgotten about. And if it's not there, why did you get rid of it?
There's some animations in the cockpit, right?
All right, so one of the things we want an interactive cockpit, right? We want, mechanics to articulate and panels to come up that you can interact with and whatnot. So we have our chair here, which spins around, so you can actually comfortably.
Right, you got to be able to get into the chair.
Have
You
to be
can't
able to
just
get-
climb over the back.
Yeah, it's a little.
Again,
tight.
details, folks. It's all about the details.
So the chair spins around, you hop in, you'll be able to put your seatbelt on. If it's a seatbelt system, and after you sit down, all the controls come to life and fold out. And
That looks sick.
panels come up and allow you to interact with it. And the way we set these animations up,
I think they dumbed down the screens a little bit. I'm trying to think of a lot of ships that have that, you know, animation for the screens. I know ships like the Hammerhead does, you know, where they come and drop down, or Constellation. I can't think of too many more. I'm sure there is a lot. Maybe the 300 series. I guess I'm maybe my memory's terrible anyway. You guys know this, but I think it's the 890 and maybe the 600i that has it drop down in front of you too. I could be mistaken, but anyway.
for this is we have kind of two animations. We have a deploy and a retract kind of an animation. So, you know, you sit down and all the panels come out.
Yeah, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of ships do this. Even like the Hornets and things, you know, you'll get in them, or the Arrow. I'm trying to think now, and you'll get in. This things will come up and then it'll drop down. So I guess they still do.
Like so, and then we say freeze on that frame in engine.
So that's kind of like the wait state or the...
Yeah, so now it's in an interactive state for your character, and they can punch buttons and whatever it happens to be. And then when you decide, all right, I'm going to get up out of my seat, it will play the retract and it will pull the controls back and let you out of your seat.
Very, very
Yeah,
cool.
I guess they do have a lot of this still.
Well, thanks, everybody. This has been Brian having a look at the animations on 300i, and you've got a lot of ships to do.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of ships.
And a lot of animations.
So I think it's a full-time job doing this.
Yeah, so you'll see more of Brian, too, when we do a little more in-depth look at the mocap studio, which we got because they helped us get it. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be great. In fact, I can't wait until we get our character animating, and then I'm animating a character to this as opposed to just arbitrarily animating things, you know, just to get it to working right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys, and that's a look at the 300i.
It's the same music. I don't want to hear it. All right, guys, that was actually really cool seeing the 300i from the get-go there. Like I say, I love doing this series because seeing where we're at now, you know, it's easy to say, you know, the reason I wanted to watch this series is because I wanted to be able to have conversations with people and answer questions about things when people say about, oh, the development of this game is too slow, or, you know, even the other side of people that say it's a scam, and people that say, oh, nothing's happened. They've been promising you to be able to do this for so long and we still don't have it. So I wanted to go back and see, you know, just how far we have come to be able to answer the questions. And if, yes, they did promise something that we never got for 10 years, to be able to be like, yeah, they probably shouldn't have promised us that. But so far, I mean, they've been delivering. We're only a couple weeks into, like, watching these videos. But so far, they've been doing everything they said they were going to do. So it'll be interesting as we get closer. I think probably more 5 years into development is where it'll start getting interesting. This is early days, and they're knocking everything out that they said they're going to do, right? I think then they get to the middle part of 5 years into development is where it starts getting a bit, you know, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video of Deep Dive into Star Citizen. If you did, please hit that little like button down here. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on the little ding-dong notification bell if you want to know when I upload more videos. If you want to help support the channel even further, consider becoming a member of the channel. Thank you to all the members. I appreciate it. It means more than you know. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. Bye.